You were now tuned in to Frankyrose's Crime Updates. Crime Updates. You were now tuned in to Frankyrose's Crime Updates. Crime Updates.
Let's switch to suspense. Let's switch to suspense.
You are now tuned in to Frankyrose's Crime Updates. Crime Updates. Crime Updates. You are now tuned in to Frankyrose's Crime Updates. Crime Updates.
Good day, friends. I hope you're doing well. It's Frankyrose. Welcome to my channel. So today I would like to talk a little bit about the university students that were found dead in their off-campus home. Most of the campuses emptied. They were all leaving in a day or two for Thanksgiving holidays. And a lot of them chose to move that up a little bit because they have not arrested anyone for this as of yet. So let's take a look at this. Fear and frustration run high in an Idaho town where 4 college students were found dead. Some of the nervous students say they are altering their routines, while others are calling for more details about the investigation. Let's take a look here, guys.
The close friend Frankyrose on Sunday seen together in this picture posted just hours before their deaths. The coroner still processing the.
It was very, very traumatic. Yeah.
Have you seen anything like that before?
No.
Autopsy results are pending, though the deaths have been ruled homicides. Investigators think that an edged weapon like a knife was used and that this was an isolated, targeted attack. Police say there are no suspects in custody.
So this is a question. Edged weapon, isolated and targeted attack, but no suspects in custody. And they are telling the kids there not to worry because they do believe it was isolated and targeted. So I'm not sure how they would come up with that when they have no suspects, but hopefully we'll learn a little bit more about that.
And motives remain unclear. The mayor telling the New York Times it may have been a crime of passion, but later saying, we don't really know what it was. The police department saying there is no imminent threat to the community, but many are rattled.
It's all just shocking and scary.
The victims' families heartbroken and wanting answers.
There was no reason. There's no dark past. There's no dark secrets.
21-year-old Kaylee Gonzalez's sister says the senior was a bright light with an even brighter future.
She had everything going for her, absolutely everything. She had a job lined up. She had worked really hard for it. She had trips planned. Her smile lit up the room.
Their families say Kaylee and Madison Mogan, who was also killed, were as close as sisters. 21-year-old Maddie, as they called her, was...
I'm not sure if you've seen the video from the food truck, but you can tell that these girls were extremely close.
In her senior year studying marketing. Their roommate, 20-year-old Xana Kernodal, and her boyfriend Ethan Chapin were also murdered. Xana, a junior majoring in marketing. She worked at a local restaurant with Maddie, while 20-year-old Ethan was a triplet from Washington, majoring in...
How heartbreaking is that? A triplet. I don't know how, this poor family, all of their families. I don't know, a triplet. That is such a rare thing, you know, that makes your heart to break for the other 2 siblings.
Sport and tourism management in his freshman year. His brother called him his...
Whoa, look at that. Oh, wow.
Best friend. His family is shattered.
We're just trying to process it. It's not a call that you think that you're going to have to speak with the funeral home directors and the FBI and have it hit national news.
4 young lives intertwined in life and now in death.
They should have had long, long lives beyond this.
And there is still no information on a possible motive.
Long lives beyond this.
And there is still.
Yeah, heartbreaking. Heartbreaking. So it says in this college town mourning for the 4 students, there's fear and frustration that is hard to miss. Police have said that the 4 were killed in an isolated, targeted attack, and there is no imminent threat to the community at large. Which, yeah, I don't know about this one. I don't know. Moscow Mayor Art Beget has speculated on the deaths, thinking they might be linked to a property crime or crime of passion. There was, I don't know if we'll see that through this, but there was other roommates that were home during this attack. So these are the 4 students: Ethan Chapin, 20, Madison Mogan, 21, Zana Kernudel, is that how you say it? 20, Kaylee Goncalves, 21. I don't know. I'm not the best with these last names. The 4 were killed in a targeted attack with an edged weapon. Wow.
In this town of Go, a violent on close were home the corn murder scene.
It was very tragic.
Homicide, weapon, isolated suspects.
If it was in the heat of passion or if it was during a theft gone wrong. So I don't blame the kids for leaving early.
City and motives remain unclear. The mayor telling the New York Times it may have been a crime of passion, but later saying we don't really know what it was. The police department saying there is no imminent threat to the community, but many are rattled.
It's all just shocking and scary.
The victim's family's heartbroken and wanting answers.
There was no reason. There's no dark past. There's no dark secrets.
21-year-old Kaylee Gonzalez.
Okay, we did see a lot of that up top there. So let's see here. There's the university. Oh, you see the memorial started. I don't understand why they're not releasing certain information. It doesn't feel like they're being real to the community. I can see that. She also said it meant something. People were like, oh, it's totally fine. It's safe. I'm going to walk alone in the dark while not necessarily knowing what the risk could be out there. And we still don't really know what that is, basically. So they're saying that no weapon has been recovered. And the police have said they have shared tongue-tied every piece of information that they can without compromising the ongoing investigation. So devastating, absolutely devastating. You know, you send your kids off to college and university, you do believe you're sending them off to a safe place. Never, and it doesn't look like these kids were bad kids by any stretch of the imagination. So here we go, what we know after Moscow police gave their first update. So I do have that on this channel. So go back and look at that if you didn't get a chance. It will catch you up. So Moscow, Idaho Police Department have been tight-lipped since the beginning of this homicide investigation into the deaths of the 4 students. Initially, they said that the 4 students were killed with a sharp-edged object, later to be revealed as a knife. And no, the weapon has not been retrieved. Here's what the police know at this time. Saturday evening, Xana, Ethan were at a party on campus away from the crime scene. Madison, Mogan, Kaylee were at the bar and came home at approximately 1:45 on the Sunday. Police responded to a report of an unconscious person at a house near the campus just before noon. When police arrived, they found the 4 victims and 2 other people, both uninjured, who lived at the home. The victims had all been stabbed with a knife. Officers found no sign of forced entry into the residence when the police arrived. The door was still open. There was no sign of an attempt at robbery. Officers continued to reiterate that this was an isolated, targeted attack. There is no suspect at this time. Police also said that they could no longer say there was no threat to the community. So I wonder what made them think that it was okay to say that at first when all of the students were still there. Sorry, guys, 2 seconds before my dog starts to bark. So the roommate of the victims were in the house at the time of the attack and were not hurt. So that's what they know, and this is what they do not know. An accurate timeline of where the victims were before their deaths, the location of the subject or the weapon, if the victims were killed with the same weapon, and why there were 2 other roommates that were not injured. Okay, so here is a couple more pictures. So right here are the 2 girls, and they are at this hot dog stand or food truck. They're still kind of waiting here. This guy back here, now he's interesting because he was standing around in this footage that's out there. He was standing around the girls, and they began to get fairly creeped out by him. He wasn't really having a lot of communication with other people that were around. He did have a little bit. People approached him and what have you. But as soon as the girls left, he immediately started to walk. He didn't go in the same direction, but he left like he was on some kind of mission. So I would love to know who this guy is. And there they are again. So when they're here, basically that guy, this might even be a shadow here because he is right over there. Okay, let's see here what we've got.
It's now been 3 days since 4 University of Idaho students were found dead inside an off-campus home.
And this morning, we now know the FBI is involved in the investigation to bring justice to the victims and their families. Crime 2's Nicole Hernandez joining us now from the newsroom with the very latest in this investigation. Nicole, you've been covering this story for the last few days now, and you have not stopped asking police for more answers. What do you know at this hour?
So, Tim, Channing, Moscow police sent us 2 updates yesterday. The first one here said police did not find a weapon at the house, but they believe a knife was used to kill the 4 students. The second update here was a plea for patience, saying they told us as much as they can at this point. So here's a breakdown of everything they have told us. Just before noon on Sunday, police got a call for an unconscious person. When they showed up, they found the 4 bodies of University of Idaho students. Again, police now say they think, quote, an edged weapon like a knife was used in the killing. They did not find a weapon at the scene, and they do not have a suspect. That evening, officers called Latah County Coroner Kathy Mabbitt to the house. She says in her 16 years as coroner, she's seen multiple victim homicides twice, but never seen 4 victims at the same crime scene.
Well, there was a lot of blood. It's a very sad scene.
Mabbitt says Latah County is contracting out the body's autopsies. Once Spokane County completes those autopsies, we should have more information on the official manner and cause of death. She's also waiting on toxicology reports. Mabbitt says those could take 4 to 6 weeks to come back, but she does not think that report will change the manner or cause of death. And we've, of course, had several of us in Moscow for days. All of us have heard and felt the worry coming from the community. Moscow police, though, say they think this was an isolated, targeted incident and say there is no threat to the rest of the community. In the newsroom, Nicole Hernandez, Crime 2 News.
Well, all across Moscow, memorials are being set up for the victims. If you drive into town, you'll see this one in front of the University of Idaho sign right when you arrive in Moscow. The university announced an official vigil for the victims will be held 2 weeks from today on Wednesday, November 30th. That's after students return back from fall break.
Now, tonight, the Idaho men's basketball team will be holding a moment of silence to honor the 4 students, and the women's basketball game tomorrow night will do the same. In this statement, the university says, in a time of difficulty for our community, coming together collectively can help. Both games will be free and open to anyone who would like to attend. And new this morning, a candlelight vigil will be held for Madison, Kaylee, Zana, and Ethan tonight. That vigil will start at 5 p.m. in Independence Point Park in Coeur d'Alene. Now, if you would like a link to all of our
Okay, so what do you guys think? Let's see here. I'm just going to set this up. How did the other roommates not hear anything or... Oh, wow. I don't know. I mean, the house looks fairly big, but not quite sure how that worked. I'll be interested to find out what was going on with that. So let's see if there's anything else interesting here. No. So there we go. And I just want to see if there's anything else before I stop this stream. I think I may have found another that everyone might be interested in seeing. The more we can learn, the more we can share, the better chance we have of getting this guy caught. So 3 days after the mass killing that left the 4 students near the University of Idaho, deceased says that there is no suspects and they could not assure there was no lingering threat to the community. They did not recover the murder weapon. So we do know that they were stabbed to death. And the coroner basically says it best, like, it's just a very sad scene. So yeah, 2 other people were in the home at the time of the attack, not injured, although he declined to say whether they witnessed the killings or to disclose what they shared with investigators. He said it had not been a hostage situation, but said the authorities had not been able to identify who might have carried out the crime. We do not have a suspect at this time. Kathy Mabbitt, the Latah County coroner, said in a text message on Wednesday afternoon that she was still conducting the autopsies and would be doing so until later in the evening. But as of yet, she said, she has found nothing surprising nor anything to contradict the earlier belief that the victims had been stabbed. The 4 friends appeared to be having a typical weekend night in the community. And it says that Mr. Chapin and Miss Kernodle were at a party while Miss Goncalves and Miss Mogan had gone to the downtown bar. In a recorded video live stream from the food truck, you could see the girls. This was around 1:45 a.m. and they were getting their food. I'm just curious to see if there's no. I was hoping to see that food truck. Okay. So from what I could tell, they left that food truck and they made like kind of a hard left. So I'm not sure if they went straight back to their house or if they ended up somewhere else, and no idea where this guy ended up. So if you have any information, please do contact the authorities. And I mean, any information. If you've seen these girls before that, if you've seen the girls after that, if you happen to have seen anyone around them that should not have been around them, you know, it's absolutely horrible. Ethan Chapin and Zaina Kernodle, rest in peace. And this is the two girls here. Kaylee Goncalves and Madison Moen. Excuse my pronunciation. So yeah, let me see here. So what they're saying here is the most important thing is tips. And this is Scott Jute. Oh, sorry. It is one possible clue to the investigation. Scott Jute, general manager of Moscow Building Supplies, confirmed a report that officers had visited the store more than once in recent days to ask whether it sold Kabar tactical knives. The store does not sell that kind of knife. Oh, that's the first I've heard of that. Wow. So it looks like they might be looking for a specific type of weapon. There is Kaylee's older sister that came on and said that, you know, we looked at that. There's no big, deep, dark secrets, and they have no idea who would have done something like this. Oh, whoa. Scott Green, the president of the University of Idaho, teared up, and he sure did. As he spoke at the news conference, he said the crime was beyond comprehension, and the entire campus has been grieving for the students. Their loss has been devastating. In Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, hundreds of friends, parents, and grandparents of the victims gathered Wednesday night to share stories, cry, and comfort one another. So, yes, I'm going to watch out for those. I am going to watch out for those memorials, and if I happen to come across them, I will stream them for you. So once again, anybody with any information, if you could contact law enforcement, either your local law enforcement or the enforcement in Moscow. Everybody's gone home, so there is a possibility that somebody knows something and they're just not in the area for law enforcement to talk to. So guys, that is my update, and keep this family of kids in your heart. Keep their families in your heart, and may they rest in peace, and may they find the individual that thought he was in the position to take these lives. I don't know what's going on with this world these days, but there's too much of this stuff happening. You worry about the mass killings, like I'm talking these large 50, 60 plus that are killed in these mass shootings. Well, these ones that are 4 and 5 people at a time, they're adding up. We are running into big problems. I don't know if these are drug related, and I'm not saying that these kids have anything to do with drugs. I'm meaning maybe the people that are going out and taking part in these attacks. You know, what is making people go out and pull guns on a football team? What is making them show up and wipe out their whole families? I don't know. I wish I had the answer. And I don't know. I'm going to continue to do what I do to try and help the best I know how. And this is through my videos and lives. Because ultimately, I can't do anything. I can just do what I'm doing. Spread the word and hope that they catch the bad guys and honor these people that are being killed and honor their families. Okay, guys, with that, thank you very much for being with me. Appreciate you. I'll see you in the next one.